Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to the fruit of Grisaia. I feel like the game is actually quite loud for some reason. Because last time I believe my audio setup
続けますね。
was a bit muffled up. Or, something disconnect and reconnected.
いつも思うのだけど、この時間のテレビはつまんない番組ばかりなのよさ。
Yeah, I feel like it's actually a lot louder. Give me a sec here. Doing 6 hours of this as per usual, so that I can at least upload 3 episodes for next week. I haven't been uploading on Patreon though, so I apologize. But once I do this episode, or record these 3 episodes, I will be uploading again. It takes a considerable amount of time to render out the files, so that's why I haven't been uploading there. Alright, I'm trying to think what happened last time. I think we went on a date with Sachi. We put her on our lap. And what else happened? Actually, don't remember. Ah, right. There was a sex scene with Sachi, but we didn't actually have sex with her. So Sachi was like, am I lacking in sex appeal? Which Yumiko seems to say yes, she is. Even though, of course, there's no way that would happen. Even Yuji says so. It's not because of the sex appeal. I think Yuji said it was because he was trying to treasure Sachi, which... I don't know if this is only something that a virgin could understand. Maybe because I am a virgin, but I do feel like... I don't think that sex is something holy or a ritual act or whatever. But I do want to try to preserve it to the one that I really love. And probably do it until I wed. Maybe I'm too much of an old school person to think that way. But who knows?
って言っても、あんたやさっちゃんが喜ぶような番組ってアナーキーなのばっかりだしね。失礼な。マグロマンもデイブ教授もそこら辺の番組とは一味も二味も違う見応えを毎週お届けしてくれているのよ。
Damn, it's still loud. Let me lower that for you guys again. Jeez, Machina, you're so loud. Why is Sachi blushing right now?
あれ、さっちゃん、制服なんか着ちゃってどうしたの？
Oh.
少し二人で勉強していたのよ。
Yeah, I guess they were watching some porn or something. Something dumb.
わざわざ教室まで行って？はい。そのおかげでとても集中することができました。
そうね。
その割には二人とも目が遠くを見つめてる感じになっちゃってるけど大丈夫？
気にしないで。しばらく休めば治るわ。
はい。メイド服とガーターベルトの関係性についてはバッチリです。
Yeah, whatever you say, Sachi.
ガーターベルト？わかった！勉強と見せかけて、実は二人でエッチなサイトを閲覧していたのよさ。
そうかもしれないわね。
あのユミちゃんが私のからかいを軽く受け流すなんて、まさかこの短期間の間に悟りを。だったらすごいけどね。
Or you guys just hit the bullseye.
でも遅いのよ、今日のお兄ちゃん。遅くなるって言っても、いつもその日のうちに帰ってきてたしね。
What does that sound? Is it like raining? You guys hear that? Is it like raining outside? Because it's not raining where I am. Yeah, I guess it is rain.
まさかあの金髪女と変なことでもしてるんじゃないでしょうね。
I thought it was static from my headphones or from my mic for a sec.
こらみちる、ここには彼女もいるんだから嘘でもそういうこと言わない。ああ、そっか、ごめんサッチ。それよりよく冷えた麦茶をどうぞ。ってその彼女が一番平気そうな顔してるんだけど。確かに ちんはお兄ちゃんのことが心配じゃないの？
だって出かける時に今日は遅くなるって JB さんが言ってたから。
そうだとしてもこの時間よ。雨も降ってきたし。この前さっちゃんが行方不明になったこともあるから余計にね。
すみません。その説は皆さんに多大なご迷惑をおかけしてしまって。
もう謝らなくてもいいってば。別にさっちゃんのことを責めてるわけじゃないから。そうそう、つまりそれだけユージのことを心配してるってこと。
皆さんのお気持ちもわかりますが、ゆうくんは絶対に帰ってきてくれますから大丈夫です。
どうしてそう思うの？
ゆうくんは約束を破ったことが一度もありませんから。
一度も？
はい。それは私が皆さんにご迷惑をおかけした時も同じで、ちゃんと私のことを迎えに来てくれました。そして今日もゆうくんは必ず帰ってくると私に約束してくれました。ですから私は何も心配していません。
あれ、今のサッチちょっとかっこいい？
I don't know if it's cool or just naive, Michiru.
なんか年長さんのくせにバタバタしてた自分が恥ずかしくなってきたかも。きっとこれが恋する乙女の強さってやつなのよさ。
ユージ、寮に着いたわよ。
Okay, thanks. Opening my eyes at the sound of JB's voice, I reached down to unfasten the seatbelt strapped across my body.
ごめんなさいね。遅くなりそうなのは分かってたけど、日付までまたぐことになっちゃって。
Not like you have anything to apologize for. This is hardly the first time I've spent an entire day on standby.
でも、サチに悪いことしちゃった気がして。
Sachi. Right.
だから、明日はサチをデートにでも誘って、埋め合わせしておいてね。
Another date already? God damn. A date?
ほら、今は夏なんだし、海なんかに連れて行ってあげたら、きっと喜ぶと思うわよ。
Hmm. Come to think of it, something like that might be called for right about now. Our first date was a pretty casual, low-effort affair after all.
その顔は可能性ありって感じね。
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
それじゃ、今日はお疲れ様。
Right. Thanks for the ride.
おかえりなさい、ゆうくん。
As I'm watching JB's car screeching off into the distance, Sachi calls out to me from beside the school gate. Sachi, please don't tell me you've been out here all night.
いえ、そろそろゆうくんが帰ってくるような気がしたので、少し前からです。
A little while, huh? Don't know exactly what a little while is for Sachi, but her hair is visibly damp and it hasn't been raining for some time. Anyway, thanks for coming out to meet me.
はい、ゆうくんの方こそお仕事お疲れ様でした。
Instead of speaking my thoughts, I drop my hand onto Sachi's head and ruffle her hair. Soon enough, I receive a small, satisfied smile in return.
それからお食事はもうお済みでしょうか？
No, haven't eaten yet.
でしたら私の方でご用意させていただいていたものがありますので、そちらをすぐに準備させていただきます。
Alright, that'd definitely be a help this time.
それから皆さんにはお話を通しておきましたので、大浴場もいつでも入浴することができますよ。
Hmm.
すみません、少し出しゃばりすぎてしまいましたでしょうか？
No, but you're really obliging tonight, even for you. Almost like a genuine maid.
ゆうくんはメイドさんがお嫌いですか？
Wouldn't say that, but I do feel a little awkward getting waited on hand and foot.
それでしたら心配ありません。今の私はメイドさんである前にゆうくんの彼女ですから。
I see. Kind of feels like she's just dancing around the issue, but I guess it's a coherent argument.
それよりまた雨が降り出さないうちに中へどうぞ。
Yeah, Sounds like a plan.
無事に帰ってきてくれて本当に良かったです。
風見くんが帰ってきたのね。
はい、榊さんにアドバイスをいただいた通り、食事の後ゆうくんを大浴場に誘導することに成功しました。
Is it gonna be? I had a feeling this would be the next sex scene after they were doing that stupid porno search. But I guess it is.
さすが小峰さん、プランに忠実ね。
それも榊さんに完璧な作戦を考えていただいたおかげです。
私の功績なんて大したものではないけれど、あとは教室で勉強した成果を見せるだけね。
はい、この小峰幸、榊さんから教えていただいた知識を駆使して一生懸命頑張ります。
ええ、陰ながら応援しているわ。
God damn it, it's not because of that, damn you fools. Wiping a few beads of sweat from my forehead, I sink into the bathtub down to the neck and let my muscles relax. I ended up stuck on the job for 12 straight hours today. Ultimately, the rat we were waiting for never showed, so I spent every minute of that on standby. After holding the exact same position for all that time, my body's aching and stiff all over. In my experience, a long soak in hot water is the best way to fix that. Changed, huh? JB said her observation applies to the both of us, but I'm not really aware of anything that different about my behavior. Then again, I don't think she's wrong about Sachi. The girl's gotten noticeably thoughtful about the situations she finds herself in, and she's been asking questions on her own initiative, actively seeking to understand the meaning of people's actions. I didn't see much of either from Sachi before. They represent clear changes in her normally static pattern of behavior. Now we just have to see what kind of results they bring.
お湯加減はいかがですか、ゆうくん。
Yeah, no problems.
それなら良かったです。
Okay, hold on a second.
はい。
How long have you been in here?
変わったかとゆうくんがつぶやいたところからです。
Damn it, so you heard everything. That's awkward. I wasn't completely off guard either. How'd you sneak up on me like that?
以前音を立てずに歩く練習をマキちゃんとしていたことがあったので、その応用です。
Easy enough to talk about moving silently, but in practice, walking without producing a sound is very nearly impossible. Stealth requires a great deal of skill, especially when approaching an alert opponent. And Sachi managed to get this close without tipping me off. That joke about her being a spy in mate's clothing doesn't seem quite so funny anymore. Alright, so why did you sneak in here? You clearly knew I was taking a bath.
実はお仕事で疲れたゆうくんのお背中をお流しさせていただこうと思いまして。
Wash my back?
はい、一人の彼女として彼氏さんの労をねぎらうのは当然ですから。
God damn you, Sachi! The exact connection between showing her gratitude and rinsing my back kind of eludes me, but Sachi brought up this proposal on her own. Whatever the details, I want to encourage that sort of initiative on her part. Alright then, appreciate it.
ありがとうございます。ではこちらの方にお願いします。
Damn you! This is not the sort of backwashing you're thinking about, Yuji. Or maybe it is. Right. Is this the part where I have to cut for you guys on YouTube? We will see. Not yet, but probably in the next couple of minutes. I pull myself up out of the grand bath and then sit down on the bath stool as directed by Sachi.
それでは始めさせていただきますね、ユージ様。
Okay, I'm not Michiru.
ゆうくんは様と呼ばれるのはお嫌いでしたか？
I don't like it or dislike it particularly. I just want to know where this is coming from.
雰囲気です。
The mood, huh? Guess there's nothing for it then.
はい、仕方ありません。
On second thought, that makes no damn sense at all.
ゆうくんが乗りツッコミというのも珍しいですね。
Forget my maneuvering. Does this mood really require you to talk to me like I'm some feudal lord?
もちろんです。ここは
So
少し
dumb.
でもいやらしさが欲しいところですから。
I think there are ways to show gratitude that don't involve any lewdness whatsoever, but I suppose there's no need to press the point. Alright, fine. We'll do it your way this time, Sachi.
ありがとうございます。では最初にお湯を流させていただきますね。
As soon as the words are out of her mouth, Sachi carefully picks up a bucket and dumps some pleasantly warm water over my shoulders.
お湯は熱くありませんか？
Yeah, feels fine.
では次にソープを泡立てさせていただきます。
Right. Next, she thoroughly lathers my back with a layer of frothy soap.
それでは失礼させていただきます。
Yeah, I heard her, I think, removing her clothes. You guys know what's happening? And after this line, I feel a distinctly soft sensation against my back. There goes the music too.
ひどいですゆうくん。どうして叩くんですか？
Because you're attacking me with your tits out of nowhere. Isn't that the natural reaction?
大抵の男性はしばらくきょとんとした後、ラッキーと拳を握りしめるのではないでしょうか。
Maybe the average adolescent, Sachi. Might be right about that one, actually.
だったら問題ありませんよね。
No, look, I'm trying to ask why you felt the need to molest me like this. I just want an explanation. You do have a reason for doing this, right?
理由ですか？
Yeah, I doubt someone who just had their first orgasm yesterday would think something like this up on the spur of the moment.
さすがゆうくん。相変わらず私の心が見えているかのような推察です。
Spare me the misguided admiration and get to the explanation.
はい。実は昨日のことがずっと気になっていたんです。
Yesterday's events? You mean when I got you off with my fingers?
はい。それであの後ゆうくんが最後までしようとしなかったのは私のセックスアピール不足が原因ということになりまして、今日はモテる限りのいやらしさでゆうくんにもオーガズムを迎えてもらおうということになったんです。
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, Sachi, but I think you're kinda thinking the wrong way right now. Ah, now I get it. Come to think of it, she did seem a little uneasy after the fact. I guess this sudden aggressive approach makes sense given the context. So, who put that idea in your head?
榊さんです。
Ah, so it's... Wait, Sakaki? Seriously?
はい。ゆうくんを大浴場に誘導してボディ洗いで迫るという作戦は榊さんが考えてくださいました。
You sure you don't mean Amane?
いいえ、間違いなく榊さんです。しかも親身になって相談にも乗っていただきました。
That girl giving out advice, let alone in a kindly way, is definitely a little surprising. But when you account for everything she's picked up from browsing the internet all the time, Sakaki might well have Amane beat when it comes to secondhand knowledge about sex. In other words, I have Cyber Sakaki to thank for this.
はい。私はメイド色が強いということもあって、そこを生かすべきだという話になったので。
Damn you, Sakaki! Can't deny that it stimulates the male lust for conquest.
はい。ゆうくんがメイド嫌いでなくてよかったです。
So that's why she asked that question at the school gate earlier.
それでこのまま体を洗わせていただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
But before that, I want to clear up a misunderstanding of yours.
誤解ですか？
Yeah, I thought I said this before, but you've got the wrong idea about why I stopped yesterday. It's not that I don't find you attractive.
そうなんですか？
What? You want proof? Alright. When you shove your naked tits against me, my body responds appropriately.
では私の裸でもハーハーしていただけるということでしょうか。
God damn it, speak in a normal language, Sachi! Damn you! Can't say I'm feeling the need to hyperventilate, but I am slightly turned on.
ならよかったです。
Hearing my reply, Sachi smiles with evident happiness. Thankfully, Sachi is not on the screen right now, so I can actually show this on YouTube. These dumb interactions are actually hilarious. Imagining the girl earnestly plotting out methods to get me aroused, it's a little hard to hold back a wry smile of my own. But then again, that kind of awkwardness might not be that atypical for an inexperienced young woman. Atypical? Atypical? I don't know how to actually voice that word. Alright, Sachi, go ahead.
はい、小峰幸、一生懸命サービスさせていただきます。
Alright, that was a very pleasant sex scene. Nothing too sexual. A bit of a nice humor back and forth. As you can see, before the sex scene even took place, the talks with Yuji and Sachi are quite funny and also playful in general. I feel like Sachi and Yuji's relationship so far has been what I feel like would be the ideal relationship in my mind, you know, the typical rom-com that you'd see as two fellow virgins, like, you know, be in a romantic situation. Though I guess Yuji is not what you'd call a virgin. But I do think the typical, what is it, like, play would be the same in how they react to each other. It's quite envious for someone like me. But yeah, I enjoy that scene. But yeah, welcome back for you guys on YouTube. We are just done with the scene, quote unquote. Still, no sex, just Sachi pleasuring Yuji with other ways. When she emerges from the grand bath a few minutes after me, Sachi's beaming smile is noticeably more energetic than usual. You're in a good mood.
はい、当初の目的を達成して榊さんの恩に報いることができましたから。
Is she supposed to be dead or just a voyeur?
しかもあろうことかゆうくんから体を洗っていただきました。
That was basically an attempt at appeasing my guilty conscience after leaving her hands covered in semen. But whatever. Sachi clearly wasn't expecting anything of the sort, so I guess my minor act of courtesy made her unusually happy. Have to say, I don't think there are many virgins out there who'd be able to pull off a body sponge that well, let alone make a man come using nothing but their hands.
一見無謀とも言える作戦がうまくいったのは熱心に指導していただいた榊さんのおかげです。
Guess I owe her one then.
それに次はいよいよ本番ですから、ムラムラとしてきたらいつでも私のことを押し倒してくださいね。
We'll see about that, Sachi. We'll see about that one. Might be polite to give her a firm "leave it to me" at this point. But unfortunately, I'm not quite so obliging as to go around promising people I'll sexually assault them. Anyway, you feeling a little relieved now?
はい、こんな私でもゆうくんに気持ちよくなってもらえることが分かって嬉しいです。
Well, seems you're in a pretty good mood already, but I've actually got another little treat for you.
良い知らせ。まさか明日からゆうくんもメイド服を着てくれるというサプライズでしょうか？
No. I said a treat, not a horror show. Let me take you on a date to the beach tomorrow. Sachi, you listening?
すみません。あまりの衝撃に思わず返事をするのを忘れてしまっていました。
I'd laugh at this point, but I know you're completely serious. She looks pretty pleased though. Inviting her seems to have been the right choice. So anyway, I guess that means you're up for the beach.
はい、オールグリーンです。
Sachi bends an elbow and strikes the same emphatic salute she used in our earlier training session. Her almost childish enthusiasm is blatantly obvious from the tone of her voice alone. She's not just pleased, she's genuinely excited. By the way, if there's something on your mind, you can talk to me about it next time. You said it yourself, didn't you? You're my girlfriend first. I might be a pretty half-assed excuse for a human being, but I do know how to listen when the people I care about talk.
Yukun.
Not that I'm asking you to tell me everything. Just want you to know there's no need to be so reserved. You understand what I'm telling you?
はい。ありがとうございます、ゆうくん。
We just done from our morning jog? I'm standing a few feet away from my front door, about to head out for my daily run, when Sachi barges into the room without so much as a knock. This abrupt face-to-face encounter is followed by a long moment of silence.
あ、ゆうくんがもう起きています。
Okay, that was a little forced.
いえ、私の中ではまだ寝ているゆうくんを起こす予定だったので、とても動揺しています。
Okay, so even Yuji hasn't gone for his morning jog yet at this hour. I usually wake up at this hour too, but I don't jog, I actually eat at this hour. She doesn't really look perturbed in the slightest, but I guess that's par for the course. I don't get it. You know I'm usually awake by now, don't you?
そういえば、ゆうくんが寝坊しているところは見たことがないような気がします。
Yeah. When you've got a fixed routine like mine, you don't even need an alarm clock to wake up at the same time every day. Same, Yuji.
さすがゆうくんです。その頑張りをたたえて、有事に目覚ましという新しいことわざを申請したいくらいです。
Alright, enough with the pleasantries, woman. What are you doing here? Very original. Anyway, why'd you decide to come wake me up all of a sudden?
実は、みちる様のお部屋をお掃除していた時に見つけた漫画に、彼女というものは毎日朝寝坊する彼氏を全くしょうがないわねとつぶやきながら揺さぶって起こすものだと書いてあったので。
Right. I think there are probably a pretty decent number of perfectly happy couples that don't quite fit that mold in the real world. But it certainly sounds like the sort of thing Michiru would enjoy.
それから、おはようございます、ゆうくん。
Somewhat belatedly, Sachi offers me a greeting and slight bow. We've been talking for 5 minutes already, you know?
はい、一日の始まりの挨拶は大切だとお父さんとお母さんも言っていましたから。
Trying to follow your parents' advice isn't a bad thing by any means, but I don't quite get the point of saying hello halfway through the conversation.
それに、今日最初に挨拶できたのがゆうくんというのも嬉しいです。
Saying hello is enough to make you happy?
はい、それだけで今日はいい日になるような気がしてしまいます。
The girl's pretty fired up first thing in the morning. At a guess, I'd say she's really looking forward to that date at the beach.
そういえば、朝食はもうお取りになられたのでしょうか。
No, was just about to do my daily running first.
ゆうくんは毎日16キロも走っているんですもんね。
16 kilos a day is actually insane, if you think about it. And you do that for a whole, hour? Yuji's speed is actually dumb. I don't think this is possible unless you're someone in the military or somewhat of an athlete. Well, want to try tagging along today?
せっかくのお誘いなのですが、今日はゆうくんとのデートですので、大浴場のお掃除を朝のうちに終わらせてしまおうと思っていました。
Makes sense. I briefly thought running with Sachi might be kind of enjoyable in a way. But come to think of it, jogging around town at dawn with a girl in full mate uniform probably would have earned me a few odd looks. In that case, better get started before Mani gets up.
そうですね。では、私はこれで失礼させていただきます。
With those words and a demure bow, Sachi quietly leaves my room. Recently, the girl started letting her emotions show more openly in her tone and attitude. The most striking examples being yesterday's service and today's invasion of my room. What's more, She's asking more questions and thinking things over more thoroughly than before. Never used to notice Sachi lost in thought, but these days it's not an uncommon sight. And more promising of all, some of this is beginning to happen spontaneously. I can't think her little rate just now had anything to do with any of my orders. She's changing through the expression of her own free will, not in obedience to someone else's instructions. Which means it probably won't be too long until she finds herself facing a critical question.
これで最後に水を流して終わりだけど、予定より早く終わっちゃった。そうだ、今日はゆうくんに挨拶できて嬉しかったから、残りの時間でみんなに挨拶して回ろう。
She's so
まず
happy.
はあまねさんとまきちゃんから。鍵がかかってない、ちょっと不用心かも。おはようございます。
何？バカ野郎！このデカ父！空襲の際に顔を出して飛び上がるやつがあるか！カメムシより視線を低くしてさっさと防空壕に飛び込め！空襲？それに防空壕なんてこの寮には。
二人とも落ち着いてください。空襲じゃありません。私です。小峰幸です。
その声は確かにマイソウルフレンドのサッチ。でもなんでこんな時間に？やっぱ空襲？
今日は少し早起きしたから、みんなに朝の挨拶をして回ろうと思って。
挨拶？何か急用があったとかそういうんじゃないの？
はい、本当に挨拶しに来ただけです。
そう。
はい。
じゃあ一応おはよう。おはようなのよ。
はい、おはようございます。それでは今日も良い一日を。
って挨拶済んだら本当に行っちゃったよ、あの子。なんかめちゃくちゃテンション高かったけど、何があったのかな。さあ。
次はみちる様のお部屋。
You're really doing this to everyone, Sachi.
あ、スカートの裾濡れちゃってる。そういえばゆうくんはよくやっぱりメイド服かって言うけど、やっぱり同じ服ばかりだと飽きちゃうのかな。でもなるべくメイド服を着た方がいいっていうみんなからの提案もあるし。そうだ、昨日は榊さんに相談してうまくいったし、今度はみちる様に相談してみよう。鍵はかかってる。
She's probably still asleep.
それなら。おはようございます、みちる様。
God, this is so weird. She's so happy. What the hell? And this is illegal, Sachi.
みちる様、朝ですよ。
若裕二、それはツンデレじゃなくてアンデレよ。
Andere? What the hell is that?
例のものは？
What the fuck?
例のものは？例のものは？
サチ。
例のものは？
What the fuck is she doing? Holy!
例のものは？
She's insane! I'm telling you, she's insane!
ちょっと待ってサチ。なんで私叩かれてるの？それに例のものって何？
I actually don't remember this scene at all. What the fuck?
すみません。みちる様に朝の挨拶をと思ったのですが、なかなか起きてくださらなかったので。
だからって叩く必要あった？
I think she's kinda jealous you were thinking about Yuji in your sleep, Michiru.
あとはみちる様が楽しそうなゆうくんの夢を見ていたのも少し。
いや、少しって明らかにそっちが主因よね。焼きもちでしょそれ。
焼き 金餅。お餅が食べたくなったんですか、みちる様。
あんたそれ絶対わざとでしょ。っていうか私は部屋に鍵をかけて寝たはずなんだけど、どうして入ってこれてるわけ？
She probably has the so-called master key.
開けました。
開けましたってそんないい笑顔で言われても。
それよりみちる様に相談があるんです。
相談？サチが私に相談なんて初めてじゃない？
そうだったでしょうか。
多分ね。あんたは大抵のことなら何でもこなせちゃうから。まあいいわ。可愛い後輩の頼みなら断るわけにもいかないし。着替えるからちょっと待ってなさい。
はい、着替えならこちらにご用意させていただきました。
さすがサチ。
ではみちる様が身支度を整えられている間に、私は榊さんを起こしに行ってきますね。
起こしに行くって、由美子の場合これから寝るんじゃないの？
そろそろ寝ようかしら。
ドアノブが何？
もしかして泥棒なの？こんな学園の寮に。でも鍵はかけてあるからそう簡単に入ってこれないはず。諦めてくれたのかしら。
さあサチ、準備は整ったし早速始めようじゃないの。第1回ツンデレ会議を。
みちる様、私は別にツンデレについて相談したいわけではありませんよ。
そうなの？私に相談って言ったらツンデレに関してじゃない？常識的に考えて。
いえ、私が相談したいのはおしゃれに関してなんです。
おしゃれっていうと服装とか髪型のこと？
その中でも服装に関してのことですね。
それを私にね。
はい、おしゃれのことはおしゃれ発信基地の異名を持つみちる様に相談すべきだと思いまして。
おしゃれ発信基地。すごくいい響きだわ。
この小峰幸、みちる様の前衛的なファッションには以前から一目置かせていただいていました。
ふふふ、さすがこの私が一番信頼を置いているサチね。あまねなんかに相談していたら裸なのか服着てるのか分かんない格好をさせられてたわよ。
Probably.
正直あまねさんのような格好をするには胸が足りな。
違うわよサチ。私たちは貧乳なんじゃなくて、ただ第二次成長が遅れてるの。ちょっと
私も
Oh, sorry. I thought she was
貧乳とま
done.
では言っていないのですが。
平気、牛乳いっぱい飲めば胸は大きくなるんだから。
みちる様、ここで悲しいお知らせなのですが、牛乳を飲むと胸が大きくなるという説に科学的根拠は全くないそうです。
じゃあなんでそんなデマが。まさか情報操作。胸の小さな女の子で低迷している牛乳の消費量を上げようという国家的策略なのね。
いえ、違います。それよりみちる様、わざわざ教室に場所を移したのはまきちゃん対策でしょうか。
その通りよ。寮じゃ落ち着いて話なんかできないから。
榊さんも同じようなことを言っていたのですが、皆さんまきちゃんのことを警戒しますよね。
だってマキナよ。
そう言われると納得してしまうからすごいですね、まきちゃんは。
昔からバカと天才は紙一重って言うからね。
はい。
で、話が獣道にそれちゃったけど、服装に関する相談ってどんなこと？
実はこのメイド服に関することなのですが。
ああ、そうだ。メイド服で思い出したけど、どうしてサチって 掃除とかしてない時もメイド服なの？
それはみちる様たちがなるべくメイド服を着た方がいいとおっしゃったからです。
え、それだけ？
はい。
じゃあメイド服が自分に似合うからとか、メイド服を着てないと大きな猿に変身しちゃうとか、そういうこともないの？
メイド服は動きやすいので気に入っていますが、やむにやまれぬ事情があるというわけではありません。
あんたって子はどんだけ人がいいのよ。あんなのただの提案なんだから、無理して守る必要ないのに。
そうだったんですか？
マキナやアマネだって気が向いたらってくらいのニュアンスで言ってたはずよ。それにサチだって女の子なんだから、着てみたい服だってたくさんあるでしょう。
いえ、今までは特にそういうこともなかったのですが。
じゃあ今は違うのね。
はい。最近ゆうくんがやっぱりメイド服かと口にするのが気になって、やはり私もメイド服以外の服を着るようにした方がいいのかと悩んでいまして。
なるほどね。
それとも私がそんなことを考えるのはおかしなことでしょうか？
そんなわけないでしょ。女の子ならもっとおしゃれしたいって思うのが当然じゃない。
おしゃれしたいと思うのは当然。
まあユージくらいの僕年人になるとずっとメイド服着てても明らかな文句は言わないでしょうけど、あいつだって可愛い服を着てるサチを見て嬉しくないはずがないもの。
ではもし私がゆうくんから買っていただいた服を着たら、ゆうくんは喜んでくれるでしょうか？
何、そんなのがあるの？
はい、この前デートした時に買っていただいたのですが、なんだかもったいない気がして着る機会がなく。
それを早く言いなさいよ。プレゼントされた服があるならさっさと着ちゃわないと損じゃない。
そういうものなのでしょうか？
いいサチ、いくらクローゼットの中で大事にしてたってユージには伝わらないのよ。
さすがみちる様です。私久しぶりに目から鱗が落ちました。
別に私がすごいわけじゃなくて、サチがちょっと真面目すぎるのよ。
I think dumb is more the thing, Michiru.
そうでしょうか？
まあ何にせよ今日私に相談してくれてよかったわよ。
そうなんですか？
だってこの私がサチにとっておきのコーディネートを考えてあげられるんだから。はい、
よろしくお願いします、みちる様。
3 minutes left. I'm waiting for Sachi just outside the gate, where we'd arranged to meet up earlier this morning. Sounded like Michiru was in her room a few minutes ago, but I doubt Sachi had let that hold her up. That said, we've got to get going pretty soon or we won't catch the bus. I muttered to myself and glanced at my watch, but in the next instant, there's the trotting sound of footsteps approaching from the direction of the dorm. Precisely on time as always.
すみません、少し着替えに時間を取ってしまいました。
I turn around and find myself face to face with an unknown individual.
どうかしましたか？
Who are you supposed to be?
今の質問が謎かけでないのなら、私はあなたの彼女の小峰幸ですと答えます。
True, you did an impressive job reproducing her face. But there's a fundamental flaw in your little disguise. The Sachi I know always wears a maid uniform.
それは昨日までの小峰幸です。
Say what? Alright, don't jump to conclusions. Let's say she isn't lying. Is there any other way to explain this? Did someone spike my tea?
私がこういう服を着ているのは そこまで意外なことなのでしょうか。
Downright shocking. Almost as bad as the one time where everyone else at the table started pouring sugar onto their natto instead of salt.
それは確かに驚きます。納豆に混ぜるのはマヨネーズが基本のはずですから。
Isn't it mustard? Considering her demeanor and willingness to roll with the conversation, it seems this really must be the genuine Sachi.
でもお父さんはマヨネーズと一緒にお醤油もかけるし。
But seriously, I don't think I've ever had a simple change of clothes completely transform my impression of someone like this before. In her school uniform, she comes off as a well-bred class rep type, and in her other uniform, she's the very picture of a maid. But the Sachi before my eyes is the girl I knew when I was young. It's like I'm staring at a vivid memory from the days when she'd pull me around the playground.
それで私が小峰幸だということは分かっていただけたでしょうか。
Yeah, I am. But why'd you suddenly take off the maid uniform?
それはゆうくんがやっぱりメイド服かと口にすることが多かったからです。
Yeah, just said what I was thinking.
なのでメイド服以外の格好、ゆうくんに買っていただいた服を着ている私も見ていただこうと思ったんです。
I see. Most likely, this nicely coordinated outfit has something to do with Michiru's visit to Sachi's room just now. Not even a day after she got sex advice from Sakaki, come to think of it. Wouldn't have guessed it at first, but it seems this school is packed full of helpful types.
それにゆうくんはその服はお前が着たいと思った時に着てくれればいいと言ってくれました。私が可愛い服を着たいと思う時、それがゆうくんと海でデートができる今日だったんです。
For the first time since I entered Mahama Academy, Sachi's wearing something other than a uniform. And her motivation is the simple desire to show me how she looks in her clothes. I should probably be celebrating her taking such clear action on her own initiative. But to be perfectly honest, I'm happier to know that she wanted to look nice for my benefit. I see. Thanks, Sachi.
いえ、私の方こそこんなに可愛い服が着れて嬉しいですから。
I muss Sachi's hair around with my hand, and her face goes slightly pink. They're pretty sporty clothes, more or less the exact opposite of the maid uniform. But it actually works for you. You look good.
それは本当でしょうか。
As soon as I express my thoughts, Sachi closes the distance between us in a blink of an eye. A serious expression on her face. Yeah. Might sound a little overblown, but the clothes look so natural on her that I almost believe she's been dressing like this all along. Of course, that's probably because I've still got a vivid mental image of the way she was as a kid. I mean, you know I'm not much good at flattery, right?
そうですね。ゆうくんのお世辞は皮肉になってしまう場合が多いですから。
I guess that's true. Well, that's how it is.
でもゆうくんに似合っていると言われるのは嬉しいです。
Even as she speaks, there's an irrepressible, energetic grin on her face. It's not like her, in a good way. It's like I've caught a glimpse of the real Sachi, the person hidden behind her iron wall of self-denial. Perfectly fine with me if that's enough to make you happy. But the date hasn't even started yet.
はい、どんなデートになるのか今からとても楽しみです。
Unlike our group trip before summer break, today we caught a cross-town bus for a shaky ride to the sea. When we arrive, Sachi trots out onto the beach a few strides ahead of me. Watching as she crouches down to play with the waves while softly singing her favorite song, I conclude that her good humor hasn't been dampened by the journey. Sounds like you're in a good mood, Sachi.
はい、これからゆうくんがサメさんと血みどろの死闘を繰り広げるかと思うと自然と胸が高鳴ってしまいます。
I think even Yuji would dive suddenly a shark with But do that, Sachi. I don't think that's a good idea. Sorry to disappoint, but that's not going to happen. Ever. This is not Jaws, Sachi.
ということはサメさんと敵対するのではなく種族間の垣根を越えた友達になる道を選ぶというわけですね。
Whatever you say, girl.
さすがゆうくんです。ラブ&ピースです。
Whatever you say, girl. I'm not going to comment on your reasoning there, but if a shark shows up anywhere near the swimming area, it'd obviously keep everyone out of the water.
そういえばそうでした。
That's really not something you should look disappointed about. But anyway, Sachi's clearly more fired up about this date than she was on the group trip. I can't exactly criticize her for being happy, even if her enthusiasm does tend to take slightly bizarre forms. Well, we're at the beach. So far, so good. What do you want to do first?
ゆうくんが望まれるなら私はどんな遊びでも構いませんよ。
Even so, it seems she doesn't have any specific requests from me. Okay, let me ask you something. That trip before the break wasn't your first time at the beach, was it?
はい、まだ小さかった頃お父さんとお母さんに何度か連れて行ってもらったことがありますから。
So what sort of things did you do back then?
そうですね、浮き輪に乗って水かけっこをしたりお母さんと砂遊びをしていたと思います。
Alright, a water fight sounds like a decent place to start.
私はそれで全然問題ないのですがゆうくんの方こそ水かけっこで構わないんですか？
Sad to say, I'm pretty unfamiliar with this sort of thing. Since neither of us have any proposals of our own, following your parents' example sound like a decent idea. You're always saying how much you love them after all.
ゆうくん
So unless you have some objection to the plan, I guess we should get changed into our swimsuits. What do you say, Sachi?
もちろん私は大賛成です。お待たせしました。小峰幸水着バージョンです。
Don't worry, I've seen you in swimsuit already, Sachi, in the common route, but that was like months ago, so I'll be burning this image into my brain, into my retinas, for a long time. I settled down to wait after stripping to my swimming trunks, but it's not even 10 minutes before Sachi returns from the changing room. That was a pretty fast change of clothes, by female standards.
はい、急いで着替えを済ませたので何かが見えてしまっていても気にしないことにしました。
You should, damn it! You should! I really think that warrants some heat paying.
すみません。どうしても着替えにかける時間が惜しく感じてしまって。
Well, now I've completely lost the will to lecture her. I guess I'm a typical male in some respects.
それから水着は前回と同じものになってしまったのですが問題なかったでしょうか？
No need to worry about that. Novelty is always nice, but I don't want you splashing around the water in maid clothes or anything.
わかりました。ゆうくんがそうおっしゃるならメイド服の出番はまた今度ということで。
How did I know? Also, as a risk aversion measure, I'd like to avoid playing in densely occupied areas. That alright with you?
それはもしかして私の身を案じてのことでしょうか？
Yeah. No different from scuba diving or whatever. The first priority is making sure your buddy's safe.
バディ、つまりここでの私はゆうくんの相棒ということですね。
I think you've misunderstood slightly, but whatever. Unless you have an objection, how about we get going?
はい、心の準備はできていますので、なんならもっと人気のない場所でも。
Damn you, we're going to a water fight! Sachi's little flight of delusion comes to an abrupt halt as we make our way past the beach house. She freezes on the spot, staring fixedly at a nearby stall. Something wrong?
見てください、ゆうくん。サメさんのフロートがレンタル中です。
So they are. Okay, let's go.
見てください、ゆうくん。サメさんのフロートがレンタル中です。
You can just say you want one. Muttering in mild exasperation, I handed over a few bills to the white-haired old man behind the counter.
すみません。このサメさんが橋の てられた猫さんのような瞳で私を見つめてくるもので。
This strikes me as a slightly self-serving account of events.
しかも青ザメからシュモクザメまで取り揃えているとなると、どのサメさんにするか迷ってしまいます。
Don't seem very interested in the Shachi Orca though.
だってシャチとサチって似てるじゃないですか。
You kind of put so much force into that, Sachi. You must feel very strongly about that. I see. The girl seems to have a fairly unique method of classifying sea life.
決めました。今回はこのジンベエザメさんにすることにします。
Sure about that?
はい、そうと決まれば早くこのサメさんを海に浮かべましょう。
Sounds like a plan.
見てください、ユウくん。私今サメさんに乗っています。
As we wade out from the shallows, Sachi slides herself on top of the shark float and calls out in a happy tone of voice. So you are. Looks fun.
どうしたんですか、ユウくん。さっきより元気がなくなっているみたいですが。
No, I think you've just gotten yourself worked up to a fever pitch.
確かにそうかもしれません。このサメさんにまたがってからなんだか胸の高鳴りが止まりません。例えるならこう三国志の豪傑呂布が関戸場にまたがった時のような力強さが。
I think you're definitely exaggerating, Sachi, but okay. I've been wondering this for a while now, but why do you love sharks so much?
それを語り出すと2時間ほどかかってしまうのですが、よろしいですか？
Do me a favor and squeeze it down to 3 minutes.
わかりました。では簡潔に説明させていただきますが、私がお父さんとお母さんから初めて買ってもらったプレゼントがサメさんのぬいぐるみだったんです。
You wanted 2 hours to explain that?
いいえ、本来ならそこから私がどのような形でサメさんへの愛着を深めていったかのお話を。
Yeah, I think I'll take a pass on that. But rest assured, I'm now fully convinced that you're a shark fanatic without peer.
ありがとうございます。
Should you really be thanking me for that one? Well, we're fated to part with Mr. Shark here in only 3 short hours. Better enjoy it to the fullest while you can.
はい、サメさんとのコンビネーションを駆使してユウくんに水をかけまくります。
Very well. You'd better come at me with the determination of a Marine storming Vietnam's fearsome Iron Triangle.
望むところです。 ユウくんは強すぎます。
Her stamina completely exhausted, Sachi trudges along at my side, moaning reproachfully. The limp, deflated shark float under her arm eloquently tells the tale of our fierce and tragic battle. You lost because you stayed on that shark until the bitter end. It severely limited your mobility.
一方、ユウくんは長い間水中に身を潜めてからのゲリラ攻撃でしたから、出現予測も難しく。
Yeah, a simple application of the underground tunnel strategy the VC adopted in reaction to the American reliance on Agent Orange and aerial bombing. The fuck? Okay, Yuji.
おかげでユウくんの体力は底なしだということを思い知らされました。
Muttering to herself in a disappointed tone, Sachi drops limply to the sand and draws a few long, ragged breaths. After that lengthy struggle, I guess it's only natural that she'd be a little tired. That said, you got nothing to be depressed about. You did pretty damn good to hang with me as long as you did.
ありがとうございます。
Feel like taking a short break? We can put playing with sand on hold for a while.
私なら大丈夫です。まだやれます。
What? Now she's a bloodied boxer trying to convince the referee for another round? So you say, but I just saw you more or less collapse onto the ground.
それでも平気です。あれは水かけ用の体力で、砂遊び用の体力はちゃんと温存してありますから。
Sure, fine. Let's leave it at that. Alright, since you're that determined, let's move on to the sandcastle.
はい、 前回来た時に見つけた絶好のサンドアートスポットがありますので、誰かに取られてしまわないうちに確保しましょう。
Is that really going to be an issue? Sachi pushes herself off the beach and strides off with newfound determination. Mumbling a few dubious words to myself, I follow in her wake.
それじゃあまたねお姉ちゃん。
バイバイ。
目つきの悪い兄ちゃんもまたな。
Damn you, Kit B. Right. After changing back into our street clothes, we say goodbye and watch the children scamper up the orange-dyed beach. To our side towers a structure that's less a child's sandcastle and more a genuine castle of sand. Apparently, Sachi missed her chance to build some castle or other the last time we were here, so the two of us began reconstructing it, but Sachi's silent, diligent labors, reminiscent of a well-trained recruit digging some massive ditch, quickly attracted a bustling crowd of curious children. In the end, we integrated them into a large-scale operation. You're popular with the kids everywhere you go, aren't you?
私にその自覚はないのですが、マキちゃんは話しかけやすいオーラが出てると言っていました。
An aura of approachability, huh? Come to think of it, I felt something like that when I met her as a kid.
でも、あの子たちが手伝ってくれたおかげで、とても立派なお城が作れました。
Sachi gently runs a finger around one parapet of her masterpiece. Her expression is filled with the satisfaction of an artist who's fulfilled their goal, but also tinged with a definite hint of fatigue. Looks like you use a lot of energy, though.
いえ、レイちゃんも時間いっぱいまで私のことを見守ってくれていましたし、まだまだ大丈夫です。
Ale-chan? I'm going to guess that Ale-chan is her whale shark. Not sure when it got a name, though.
見てください、ユウくん。海がとても綺麗です。
Yeah. What with the setting sun and all?
前に来た時も思いましたが、やっぱりこういう景色は素敵ですね。
Smiling fondly, Sachi stares off into the vividly colored horizon. Watching her face from the side, it's almost enough to make me forget about the burden she's carrying. Hey Sachi, you have fun today?
はい、今日は私の人生の中で一番楽しかった日と言ってしまってもいいかもしれません。
You enjoyed it that much?
はい、サメさんの浮き輪に乗って水かけっこをして、砂遊びでお城を作って、まるで小さい頃にユウくんと公園で遊んでいた時のような楽しさを感じてしまいました。
Sachi expresses her feelings in unusual detail, gesticulating. Gesticulating? I hope I'm saying that correctly. What the hell is that word? Enthusiastically. Her happiness is so obvious that I'm forced to give myself a mental pat on the back for inviting her. I see. That's definitely good to hear.
そういうユウくんは楽しかったですか？
Hadn't quite expected this question. For a moment, I'm at a loss for a response.
楽しくなかったですか？
No, I did enjoy myself. Wasn't half bad messing around like a kid again.
それなら良かったです。
But why'd you ask?
それは周りの反応ばかりを気にして自分の気持ちなんて考えていないようなところが昔のユウくんにはあったからです。
Well, aren't you a sharp one, Sachi? So that's how Sachi saw me as a kid. Maybe I did back then, but people do change. You used to be a tomboy who'd pull people around the playground, remember?
そうですね。あの頃の私は本当に悪い子でしたから。
You really think so?
はい。
As I suspected, Sachi's still plagued by regret. I'm more convinced than ever that she consciously blames herself for what happened. Her voice has grown thick with grief, as if she's barely suppressing the desire to shout out bitter apologies. Alright, guess that's enough reminiscing for one day. Let's get going before the buses stop running. But when I cut off the conversation, Sachi jerks her head up to stare into my eyes. Something wrong?
していません。
Okay then. Her reaction just now clearly suggested she had something to say, but I'm not going to drag it out of her. After a moment's pause, I begin to walk up the beach toward the nearby bus stop. Hmm? This is the scene, or the CG that I've put on my background wallpaper for the last, I don't know, 4 years, by the way. In that instant, I feel something pulling on me from behind. When I turn back, Sachi's reached out with one hand to grab my sleeve. Sachi. I call her name, but there's no immediate response. You have something you want to say?
ません。
Hmm?
まだ帰りたくありません。もっともっとゆうくんと一緒に遊んでいたいです。
In response to my decisive, let's get going, she offers outright resistance. There's no real logic behind her objection. It's a selfish, emotional demand. Nothing more. To hear such words coming from Sachi's mouth is so surprising that I find myself entirely lost for an answer. And even as the silence stretches on, her hand maintains its timid but steady grip on the sleeves of my shirt. Sachi. Her face is downcast, her eyes avoiding mine. I can't make out her expression, but I can tell that her cheeks have grown red. Normally speaking, this would be nothing but a cute moment of selfishness, the sort of thing girlfriends are generally entitled to. But in this case, it represents a serious violation of Sachi's internal rules. I understand what you're saying, so could you let me go for a second?
すみません。今すぐに。
My words finally snap Sachi out of this little reverie, and she jerks her hand back as if bitten by a snake.
すみません。私自分でわがままを言うのは悪い子だって言っておきながらあんなことを。今のは完全に私の失言ですので、ゆうくんも忘れてください。
Sachi bows in flustered apology, her voice tinged with regret. Judging from her reaction, it's obvious that her behavior right now was a pure spur-of-the-moment reflex. She clearly hadn't seen it coming any more than I had. Okay, I understand that was a slip on your part, but I can't promise you I'll forget it. Tell me something. If you knew it was a bad thing to do, why'd you grab my clothes in the first place?
それはゆうくんと一緒にいるのが楽しかったからだと思います。
Even so, there's no way you would have said anything like that before.
それはそうかもしれません。
So why now? Why do you think you said that, Sachi?
それは自分でもわかりません。
So you haven't quite realized it yet, huh? Not consciously, at least. Okay, Sachi. I want to have a serious conversation.
真面目な話ですか？
Yeah. If Sachi's ever going to regain what she needs to be whole again, this is where things have to start. This is my chance. Silently steeling myself, I stare directly into Sachi's eyes. You remember what I told you on the rooftop?
学園の屋上でということは私たちが付き合うことになった日のことでしょうか？
Yeah. I told you I was going to help you be yourself, right?
はい。あの日の言葉はしっかりと覚えています。
Sachi closes her eyes as if to recall the scene in question. In other words, Sachi, I was saying that right now, you're not yourself.
私が私じゃない。
That's right. Blaming yourself entirely for events from your past, focused on being a more perfect good girl than anyone else. Never asking for anything, keeping a tight lid on your own thoughts, obeying every order you receive like some kind of robot. That's the person you are today.
じゃあもしかしてゆうくんは私に何があったのかを。
Of course, I know about the accident on your birthday, and I know how you've lived since then. That said, I'm not going to tell you the path you choose was wrong. Why do you look so surprised?
だって今の私が私でいられていないとしたらそれはいけないことだって言われると思ったから。
Well, from a normal perspective, maybe it would be. But unfortunately, I'm pretty warped myself. I don't want to judge you. I just want you to realize something.
気づいてほしいだけ。
Yeah. In other words, you have to find the answer on your own.
自分で考える。
Why did you make that selfish request just now? What do I want you to realize? And finally, how should you live from now on? This is a formal request, and I know full well you can't turn it down. You're a good girl who does what she's told, right? In other words, you're not going to refuse.
それは。
That said, I don't care how long it takes for you to figure it out. It shouldn't be an unreasonable demand, since there's no deadline.
確かにその通りですが。
So, do you accept?
はい、わかりました。
Thanks. It's a familiar exchange. Since I entered Mahama Academy, I've heard it dozens of times. Faced with a request for help, Sachi nods her head and answers with the words, "Yes, certainly." The gears shift in her head, and a new task assumes top priority. Secure in the knowledge that my order has taken effect, I once more begin to walk up the beach. On the bus back to Mishima Cape, we sit side by side in silence, gazing out the windows the whole way. It's a slightly unfortunate way to finish the beach date Sachi had been so enthusiastic about. But in exchange, we've taken a crucial step forward. For the first time, the pathological good girl was outright selfish. In return, I offered her 3 cryptic questions. And what's more, she learned that I'm familiar with her past. All of these events undoubtedly caught Sachi by surprise. Her head's likely packed full of questions, her mood unsettled and anxious. She's confronting a change in herself that she can't understand, and struggling to decipher the meaning of the problem I've set for her. And in these matters, there's no mathematical formula to apply in order to get a correct solution. No simple cause and effect like pulling a trigger to kill a human being. For that very reason, Sachi has to find the answer herself. Which is easier said than done. To realize what she's overlooking. That's her only chance to regain something like normality. An everyday life is like a tower of blocks built by a child. In other words, a random assortment of materials in all sizes, shapes, and kinds, thrown together haphazardly into a structure that just barely manages to stay balanced. When even a little block starts to tremble, the whole tower will begin to teeter dangerously, placing especially heavy stress on the pieces closest to the disturbance. And the more crucial that block is to the stability of the whole, the more severe the disruption.
どうしよう、あまね。デイブ教授とマグロマンのフィギュアで遊んでたら、デイブ教授の腕がもげてしまったのよ。もげたって、どんな遊び方したらそんな風になるのよ。一種格闘技戦。マグロマンにアルゼンチンバックブリーカーかけようとしたら、デイブの腕がうまく曲がらなくて。
You're crazy, Machina. I don't know how many times I've said that word or that that same phrase, but you're crazy.
まあ、そうなったら瞬間接着剤でくっつけるしかないんだろうけど、今持ってたかな。ないの？ダメなの？デイブ石腕になっちゃう。 れは大丈夫。私が持ってなくてもきっとさっちゃんが。ってそっか。
Amane stops halfway through her sentence with a glance toward the window, where Sachi stands in full mate uniform, gazing vacantly out the scenery. After returning from our date 3 days ago, the girl's been constantly looking off into the distance with the dazed demeanor of some grizzled old soldier who's just discovered the war ended 5 years ago.
おはようさっちゃん。今日はいい天気ね。
はい。今日の三島崎の天気は晴れのち曇りで、降水確率は 20% だそうです。
そっか。じゃあお布団干しちゃった方がいいかもね。
ついでに大根やアジなんかも干してみるのもいいかもしれませんね。
そうね。
That said, she still answers when you talk to her directly, if a bit oddly. Apparently, she's just lost in thought. The first of the others to realize Sachi's abnormal condition was Michiru. Understandably enough, considering she's dependent on the girl's help for a good third of her daily routine. But her vague report that Sachi's acting kinda weird spread throughout our small dormitory in the blink of an eye. And after 3 straight days of this odd behavior, everyone's obviously begun to treat their communal maid a little gingerly, generally refraining from their normal barrage of requests.
やっぱりコンビニまで買いに行こっか。
さっちんなら絶対持ってるってわかってるのに、外まで買いに行くのはめんどくさいのよさ。
I've got your glue right here. Stopping the pair just as they're making their way toward the front door, I hold up a small tube of super glue.
ユージ。
さすがお兄ちゃん。伊達にさっちんの彼氏をやってないのよさ。
While we're at it, I'll reattach Professor Dave's arm for you.
ほんと？いいの？
Yeah, I'm no surgeon, but I've got experience suturing level 2 lacerations. Leave it to me.
縫合の経験がどう役に立つのかわかんねえけど、すげえ説得力な。
Yeah, it is just a figure after all. I provide the glue they needed and even reattach the good professor's arm. Normally, this would be satisfactory resolution to the matter, but Amani seems disinclined to give me a pat on the back. Of course, I did give everyone a rough explanation once they noticed Sachi's strange behavior. But since I deliberately stayed vague on the details, it seems I haven't quite convinced them to passively sit on their hands. Got something to say? I'll listen.
言いたいことっていうか、ユージはこれからどうするつもりなの？
Didn't I already explain this? Until Sachi finds the answer on her own, I'm going to stand by and watch over her.
でもそれじゃあ一生答えが出ないってこともあるわけでしょ？
True. Can't deny the possibility exists.
それにさっちゃんがずっとあんな感じだといろいろと問題も出てくるし。
Like what specifically?
みちるがカップラーメンしか食べなくなる。
昨日はお気に入りの服を洗濯機に破かれたって騒いでたのよさ。
I see. So first of all, Michiru is going to hit a lifestyle crisis.
言い換えればさっちゃんの頑張りはそれだけみんなの生活を支えてたってことでしょ？
Can't deny Amani has a point. Apart from looking after the care and feeding off Michiru, Sachi's more or less single-handedly maintaining the facilities of the school. In terms of her duties, she's less a class rep and more a diligent janitor. With no one playing that role, it's all too clear that the campus as a whole will soon be experiencing all sorts of difficulties. Understood. I'll take over the miscellaneous duties she's normally been taking care of.
でもそれで私たちが困らなくなったとしてもさっちゃんがあのままなのは変わらないわけよね。
Well, probably not.
せっかくユージの彼女が板についてきて最近は嬉しそうにしてることも多くなってきたのにあんな風に考え込んじゃってるところを見せられちゃうとね。
一番の友達と自負している私としても元気のないサッチンを見てるのは心苦しいのよさ。
Well, Yuji doesn't want just superficial happiness, Amane. I see. Even more than their words, the expressions on their faces convey keen concern for Sachi. I can understand their feelings. Not that I'm planning to change course. But if this situation drags on too long, I'll have to consider trying to push things along.
ちょっとあまねー、大浴場の床がなんかヌメヌメするんだけど、あんたお風呂で変なもの使ったりしてないでしょうね。んなわけないでしょうが。じゃあどうしてヌメヌメってしてるのよ。
Probably because it hasn't been clean.
そうか、今週は業者さんも夏休みで寮の清掃が入らないんだっけ。サチがやってくれてる掃除はもともと慈善事業みたいなもんだしね。じゃあサチがカムバックするまでヌメヌメするお風呂で我慢するしかないか。
Just clean it yourself, what the fuck? That's disgusting.
ごめん、あんたは自分で掃除しようって気にはならないの？
God damn you, Michiru.
だって面倒くさいし、床滑るし、床滑るし。
You said that already.
お風呂の掃除やろうとするとチルチルはいつも転んでタンクぶ作るもんな。
Just use some rubber boots or something.
これはもうお告げね。私は一生お風呂掃除をしなくていいっていう神のお告げなのよ。
ねえ、沸いてる？チルチル沸いてるの？
お湯なんて沸かしてないわよ。みちる、あんた。何その目。なんで哀れむ感じで見られてるの私。
Alright, I'll take care of the grand bath.
掃除なら私も手伝えるしね。
もちろん私も手伝うのよ。
みんなで掃除をやるって言うなら私も手伝うし、ユージがサチの代わりをやるのもいいけど、だったらサチ自体をなんとかしなさいよ。あんたサチの彼氏でしょ。
I know where you're coming from, but this self-reflection is a phase Sachi has to go through right now.
それは前も聞いたけど、あんたはサチがかわいそうだと思わないの？
Wouldn't say I pity her, but I'm aware that I'm making her go through something harsh.
自覚はあるって。あんたが何もしないなら私がサチに頼んで。
Listen to me, Michiru. As an angry scowl spreads across Michiru's face, I grab her by the shoulders and stare straight into her eyes. Yeah, if somebody goes up to Sachi and says, "Stop worrying so much," she'll return to normal. But she's in this school for a reason. And if we pull back now because it's hard to watch her struggle, she's never going to get out. Try to understand.
何よ。そんなに辛そうな顔して正論を言われたら、私がダダを言ってる子供みたいじゃない。
Sorry. I do understand that you're all genuinely worried about her. Apparently, the three of them understand my way of thinking. I wouldn't say they're entirely satisfied, but there are no further objections. Anyway, the thing with Sachi is probably going to cause everyone some problems for a while, but try to bear with it for now.
わかったわよ。もうなんとかしろとか言わない。そうね。もともと私たちがさっちゃんに頼りすぎてたところもあるし、襟を正すいい機会かも。
サッチンのためになるって言うなら私も頑張ってみるのよさ。
They're understanding at very weird times sometimes. Right. Looks like we've reached a tentative understanding. In that case, I'm going to start off by cleaning the grand bath.
あ、だったら私も。
Appreciate the offer, but let me handle it on my own this time.
ってもう言っちゃったか。ユージのやつどういうつもりよ。大浴場一人で掃除するって結構大変なのに。
I mean, he's human too, you know. He probably just wants to take his mind off of Sachi too, while doing miscellaneous work on the side.
もしかしたらユージなりに責任を感じてるんじゃないかな。責任？ほら、さっちゃんに課題を出したのはユージなわけだし、その分なるべく私たちには負担をかけたくないって思ってるんじゃない？だとしたらあいつも人のこと言えないくらい面倒な性格してるわよ。
それに お兄ちゃんが一番サッチンのことを心配してるはずなのよ。
そうね。
じゃあさ、そっとしておいてあげる以外で私たちが幸の力になれることってないの？
力になるって言ってもさっちゃんが何に悩んでるのかがわからないとね。
だったらサッチンに聞いてみればいいんじゃね？どんな課題出されたのって。
Do realize that compared to the other routes, this route especially has a lot more interactions with everyone else compared to just Sachi. Especially very true for Amane, since Amane's route was basically just Amane telling you her flashback, and after that the resolution, right? This one in particular has a lot of scenes with everyone else. I really love the dynamic.
ああ、そっか。
ちょっと待って。それってなんか反則のような気もするんだけど。
Wait, what did she say? Is there nothing we can do to help Sachi? Okay, leaving alone. Don't know what she's worrying about. Ask her, gotta be easy to find out what the sort of problem. What the?
だとしてもまずは聞いてみないとわからないでしょ。もしかしたら天音さんみたいな無駄にエロい人には教えられませんって言われるかもしれないんだし。
I doubt she'll say that, Michiru.
みちる。
いただだだ、ごめん、私が悪かったからやめて。グリグリしないで。出る、お味噌出ちゃうから。
まあ私も力になりたい気持ちは同じだし、ここはどうしたらいいか相談してみよっか。
相談するって誰によ。
それはもちろんプロフェッサー Y に決まってるのよさ。
Yeah, you're not making it any less
というわ
obvious.
けでみんなで協議し合った結果、私たちはあなたにおせっかいを焼くことに決めたわ。
おせっかいですか？
そう、風見くんとのデートから帰ってきた後に小峰さんの様子が変になったのは明らかだし、風見くんからも少なからず事情は聞いているわ。サチには課題を出したって。
そうでしたか。
だから小峰さんがその課題のことで悩んでいるなら相談に乗らせてもらえないかと思って。
相談。
ここなら急に風見くんが通りかかるという可能性も低いし、同じ女性同士腹を割って話し合えると思うの。
確かにそうかもしれませんが。
もしかしてユージに言っちゃダメって言われてた？
いえ、それは言われていません。よし、これで第一関門突破ね。
安心するのはまだ早いわ。口止めされていなくても私たちに話してくれるかどうかは小峰さん次第よ。
そっか。
どうサチン、私たちに話していいって思う？
それは。
小峰さん、私たちは無理強いをしてまであなたの悩みが聞きたいわけではないの。一人のクラスメイトとして、友人として、あなたが相談してもいいと思えたら話してくれればいいから。
わかりました。私も数日考えて答えが出ないままですし、このままではゆうくんや皆さんに迷惑をかけ続けてしまいます。ですから皆さんの知恵を貸してください。
ええ、もちろん。
というのがゆうくんからの課題です。私、何か変なことを言ったでしょうか？
いいえ、変なことというより、
ユージの出した課題にとても簡単なことと全くわからないものが混じってて。
確かにそんな感じよね。あの課題の中に簡単なものがあったんですか？
まあそれも私たちの考えが合っていればなのだけれど。
それでも構いません。ぜひ皆さんの見解を聞かせてください。
じゃあ一度話を整理させてもらうけど、さっちゃんが出された課題は、この間のデートでどうしてわがままを言ったのかと、ユージが何に気づいてほしいのかを当てるってことでいいのよね。
はい、ゆうくんは確かにそう言っていました。
で、私たちが簡単だと思ってるのはわがままを言った理由の方でいいのよね。
そっちの答えはすぐに分かったし。
いいさっちゃん、今まではそんなことなかったのに、この前のデートで初めてわがままを言った。それはさっちゃんがそれだけユージのことを好きになったからよ。
私がゆうくんのことを好きに？
そう、さっちゃんがわがままを言ったのはユージと遊んでいるのが楽しくて、もっとこの時間が続いてほしいって思ったからでしょ。
はい、その通りです。
それはユージのことが好きじゃなきゃ思わないことだもの。
じゃあ私はゆうくんのことが好きなんでしょうか？
さっち今さら何言ってんの？
だって私、自分がゆうくんのことを好きなのかよくわからなかったから。
I mean, I don't think most people would understand love, you know? I think it's a pretty legit question.
あのね、サチ。じゃあ、ユージから買ってもらった服を着たいと思ったのはなんで？
それに最後までしてくれなかったことが気になったのも。
もっと言えば教室の席をユージのそばに移したのもね。
もしそれがゆうくんのことを好きだという証拠なら、私はもうずいぶん前からゆうくんのことが好きだったということになります。
じゃあサッチンはお兄ちゃんのことが好きだっていう自覚がなかったのに彼女になってたの？
ゆうくんがなってほしいって言ってたし、私も嫌じゃなかったから。
嫌じゃないって、さすがにこの鈍さだとユージにも同情しちゃうわね。
I mean, that's the very thing that Yuji wanted to prevent, though. If it was some other guy, she probably would have also said yes.
確かに。
すみません、私の察しが悪いせいで皆さんにご迷惑を。
That's why she's at least somewhat blessed right now that everyone that she's encountered has been quite quote-unquote good.
だからって謝る必要はないけど、私たちの言いたいことはなんとなく伝わった？
はい、付き合い始めた頃より私がゆうくんのことを好きになったからということですよね。
そういうこと。
ってことはこれで課題の一つはクリアってことじゃない？
だといいのですが。
その代わりにもう一つの課題が難問なのよさ。
そうね、風見くんが小峰さんに気づいてほしいことというくくりではあまりにアバウトすぎるわ。
はい、そちらに関しては私も見当すらつけられない感じでして。
だとしたら時間をかけて考えていくしかないのかも。
つまり答えが出るまでこういう会議を開いていくってわけね。
私は嬉しいのですが、そんなに協力してもらっていいんでしょうか？
そんなの当たり前じゃない。私たちの方から相談に乗らせてくれって頼んでるのよ。
みちる様。
そういうわけだから私にもどんどん相談してほしいのよ。
マキちゃん。
それじゃあ小峰さん、この会議はこれから定期的に開いていくということで問題ないわよね。
はい、こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
Damn, that took nearly 2 hours. When cleaning a large area alone, there's an inevitable cost in terms of both time and physical energy. And Sachi's been doing this practically every day. No matter how efficient she is, that's some serious effort she's putting in for our benefit.
風見くん、ちょうどいいところに。
Sorry, princess, but you're a little young to be in here. This is a grown-up building.
そっか。じゃあ千鶴、もっと大きくなってからまた来るね。
God, get rid of that stupid voice, Chizuru. Chizuru, I...
世にも奇妙なものを見たような顔しないで。いつもからかわれている仕返しにちょっと乗っかってみただけでしょ。
Right, sure. Sorry. Normally the woman gets all in a huff over even my gentlest jokes, so I was honestly afraid she just lost it.
あなたはどうしてそう意地悪なのかしら。
No, but the women I sleep with seem to love it.
あのね、
So what are you doing all the way out here anyway? Something urgent came up?
ああ、そうそう。実は夏休みが終わる前に連絡しておきたいことがあったんだけど、みんな出かけてるみたいで。
Something you wanted to tell us about?
みんなごめんね。急に集まってもらっちゃって。
Chizuru stands before us with both arms folded behind her back. The very picture of a composed principal addressing her students. You never guessed she was role-playing as a schoolgirl all of 30 minutes ago. Fortunately, it didn't take long to gather the others. I got in touch with Imane right away, and apparently all 5 of them were off doing something as a group for once.
それはいいんですけど、重要な連絡事項って何ですか？
もしかして真夏日が終わるまで夏休みを延長するとか？
You wish.
それなら私も大賛成よ。なんなら一年中真夏日でもいいくらいだし。
Speaking of a heat wave, we're actually on a heat wave right now for the last couple of months, I think. It's been really hot here, even though Indonesia is already known for being hot. It's worse now.
エアコンがなくても？
すみません、学園長、話を続けてください。それじゃあ本題に入るけど、今回の連絡は夏休みが延長されるとか、この学校がなくなるとか、そういう話ではありません。しかもあなたたちにとっては残念な知らせになるでしょうね。じゃあこの話はなかったということで。
おとといで直してきな、お嬢ちゃん。
こらこら。2人とも夏休みが始まる前はもうちょっと落ち着いていたような気がするんだけど。
Sorry, Principal Tachibana. They seem to be suffering from an overdose of summer vacation. I'll make sure to discipline them later.
しつけー。なんだか塩ビな香りがするわね。
塩ビじゃなくて陰ビな。
単刀直入に言うと、新学期が始まってすぐに学力テストを実施します。学力
テスト？
ええ、今回のテストは学力調査の一環として全国の学校機関を対象に行われるもので、学年にかかわらず全員が同じ内容のテストを受けてもらうことになっています。
全員が同じ内容ということは、出題範囲の方はどうなっているんです？
年齢がアドバンテージにならないよう、みんながこれまでに習った範囲からのみ出題される予定になっているわ。
なるほど。それなら特に問題ないわね。
さすが榊さんね。松島さんも普段から予習復習をしっかりしておけば、こういう時も慌てなくて済むようになると思うわよ。夏休みを楽しむのも大事だけど、後で後悔しないようにしっかり勉強しておくようにね。
I hope they told us this, like, a couple of weeks in advance, because if it's literally in a couple of days, that would be quite bad.
小峰さんもちゃんと聞いてる？
はい。
what?
先日駅前のランジェリーショップで18,000円の勝負下着を購入していたことはそっと私の胸にしまっておきます。
18,000 yen for a lingerie? Lingerie? I actually don't know how to say that word. Lingerie? I think it's lingerie. God, that's expensive.
ごめんなさい。いきなり何を。
You intending to make use of those sometime soon, Principal Tachibana?
いや、それはともかく、休み明けにテストがあることはちゃんと伝えたからね。
Beads of sweat rolling down her forehead, the principal frantically wraps up her announcement, then scampers out of the dorm. Not the most dignified retreat I've ever seen.
でも夏休み明けに学力テストか。こりゃ地図ちゃんが言ってたようにちょっと勉強しといた方がいいかもね。
チルチルはどうやったらテストをバッコれられると思う？風よ風。古今東西ずる休みする時の言い訳は風って決まってるんだから。
ほらそこ隠れて悪い相談しない。
だってテストよ。私がこの世で2番目に嫌いなものが夏休み明けに待ってるのよ。
じゃあ一番嫌いなのは？
子供に決まってるじゃない。
自分を嫌いなものの一番に持ってくるのも珍しいわね。
Damn, that's harsh.
それどういう意味？
なんでもないわ。
Okay, I understand that you hate tests, but the point of this thing is to investigate scholastic. Damn, scholastic is a very weird word. Achievement levels. It's not going to influence your grades even if you do terribly, right?
あんた何も分かってないわね、ユージ。
What?
本当に勉強が苦手な子ってのはね、テストって言葉を聞いただけで具合が悪くなるようなレベルのことを言うのよ。
I mean, you don't have to study to hell, Michiru.
ごめん、そこ威張るとこ？
A pathological testophobe, is it? That's a new one.
とうとううなり出したわね。
でもチルチルの気持ちは私もちょっとわかるのよさ。
I mean, you can always just hand them a blank, you know, paper. Blank test paper if it's not going to be graded.
そうだねえサチ、テストなくしてよテスト。サチならできるでしょ。
The instant Michiru yelps out her desperate entreaty, time comes to a halt. For me and Sachi at least, the others simply glance in Michiru's direction with standard expressions of exasperation and pity. Normally, I might have reacted in the same way, but since I know about the events that brought Sachi to this school, those words hit hard enough to leave me stunned.
どうサチ、あんたほどのパーフェクトメイドならテストをなくすことすら可能なんじゃない？それは。
The frozen moment is shattered as Michiru blunders on ahead. Sachi, clearly flustered, hesitates to answer.
こらみちる、いくらテストが嫌だからって無理を言ってさっちゃんを困らせないの。
そんなの分かってるわよ。私だって本気で頼もうとしたわけじゃん。
Right, I'm sure she wasn't. Michiru's words lacked any real malicious intent. She'd backed herself into a corner with all that theatrical complaining. Jokingly asking Sachi for help was just her attempt at an exit strategy. But it's alright, we're going to accept that request. Fundamentally, Sachi's going to take charge of this one. But if it seems like she's going to fail, I'll step in and make it happen. In other words, we're taking joint responsibility.
ちょっとユージ、何言ってるの？
Just answering Michiru's petition. We'll get rid of that test, as requested.
あんた何言ってるのよ。いくらサチが無敗のメイドだからって学校のテストをなくせるわけないじゃない。お風呂を掃除しろとか何かが欲しいとかそういうお願いとは違うのよ。
I wouldn't be so pessimistic.
え、
Just so happens that you asked someone who's successfully gotten rid of a test before.
それは本当なの、さっちゃん？
はい、ユウくんの言っていることは本当です。ミチル様と同じ依頼は 前にもお願いされたことがあります。
それで本当にテストがなくなったの？
Man, once you actually played this game, you kind of notice the subtle things that the game does throw at you. That subtle ... from Yumiko is like her not agreeing with Yuji's method right now. Yeah, she did. To borrow Michiru's phrase, she's been an invincible maid for a very long time now.
さっちんすげえ。
さっちゃんならもしかしてとは思うけど、学校のテストをなくすなんてどうやったら。
それは
That's going to be a secret until the day of the exam.
なんでよ。どうせ後でわかることなら今教えてくれてもいいじゃない。
Tell me something, Michiru. Which is the more enjoyable way to receive a present? When you know what's inside or when you don't?
それは中身を知らない方じゃない？普通に考えて。
Right? Same deal here.
ああ、なるほど。やるじゃない、ユージ。あんたなかなかのエンターテイナーね。
Okay. You're too kind. Sachi sits quietly on the sidelines as I push the discussion forcefully ahead, her eyes fixed on me. Guess I'm asking after the fact, but I assume you're alright with this, Sachi.
それは
After all, turning her down would mean you're refusing to help someone. Guess that'd make you a bad girl.
それは嫌です。
In other words, you'll accept the request.
はい。私はいい子でいなければいけないですから。
Right. And for you, a good girl is a person who does what they're told. Never refusing, never objecting. A wind-up doll marching along the path others set out for it.
さっちんがうなずいた。
ってことは本当に学力テストをなくすつもりなの？
Sachi wouldn't joke about this, and since I've assumed responsibility for her success, I won't allow her to fail.
まあ、ユージが頼りになるのは最近の幸ぶりからも明らかだし。確かにお兄ちゃんが一緒ならテストだってなくしてしまいそうなのよさ。
That's right. Rest assured, we'll take care of it. Feel free to slack off for the test of your summer vacation.
分かったわよ。どうやってテストをなくすのかは知らないけど、あんたに任せたからね、サチ。
はい。私にお任せください。
Sachi, you have a second?
はい。
As the group disperses, I stop Sachi before she can leave the lobby.
今日はいつもと同じメイド服なのですが、どこかおかしかったでしょうか？
Noticing that I'm running my eyes over her clothing, she requests an explanation in a slightly puzzled tone of voice. Not really. Your street clothes the other day left a strong impression, so I was just doing a little mental comparison.
すみません。課題の答えを考えるのに精一杯で、服装までは気が回らなくて。
I see.
もしゆうくんがご希望のようでしたら、今からでも着替えてきますが。
No, that's alright. Not necessary.
そうですか。
Yeah. There's no meaning in her wearing those clothes unless she does it on her own initiative. The conversation grinds to a halt. For a moment, there's a vaguely awkward silence between us.
ゆうくん、一つ質問してもいいでしょうか？
Depends. What do you want to know?
どうしてゆうくんはみちる様の依頼を受けるとおっしゃったのでしょうか？
Let's see. Little tricky to explain, actually. Mainly, I thought accepting that request would help you find the answer to the questions I gave you the other day.
課題の答えがですか？
Yeah. Also, I wanted to see how you'd react today when faced with the same request you accepted back then. And if you didn't refuse, how you'd try to carry it out. Long story short, you could say I dragged you into this for my own selfish reasons.
それでも構いません。 ゆうくんから尋ねられてみちる様の依頼を受けると決めたのは私ですから。
Right.
それにあの依頼を受けることで答えが見つかるのだとしたら、私は一生懸命頑張るだけです。
I don't know what Sachi thinks about the incident she caused at her previous school. I don't know whether she regrets it or hides behind rationalizations. But when Michiru asked her to get rid of the test, Sachi hesitated for a moment with uncertainty in her eyes. And after I pushed her into consenting, she asked me why. At the very least, something about the idea of repeating her actions made Sachi uncomfortable, even unsettled. That she nonetheless decided to accept that request can only mean one thing. The laws that bind Sachi haven't loosened their grip on her.
ゆうくん、
Sorry. It's nothing.
そうですか。
Anyway, one last thing I wanted to ask. Do you have a plan in mind for getting rid of this test?
はい、一度達成した依頼ですから、今回も問題ないと思います。
Already succeeded once, huh? Well, in that case, I guess I probably won't need to get involved.
はい、ゆうくんはいつも通りに過ごしてもらって大丈夫だと思います。
Alright then. Sorry for holding you up.
いえ、私はゆうくんの彼女ですから、何かあったらいつでも呼んでください。
With a smile and a demure little bow, Sachi calmly heads back to her room. Sachi may be confident now, but if she attempts to use the same method as before, she's almost certainly going to fail. That's not a problem in itself. Sachi has to fail if she's ever going to break out of this status quo. But failure alone would likely accomplish nothing more than leaving a new wound on her heart. Failure is necessary, but she can't allow herself to fail. The solution's obvious enough. She just needs to fail by succeeding. There's a fundamental contradiction hiding inside the laws Sachi's bound herself to. And if she needs help to realize its existence, I'll use any means necessary to provide the key. A little before midnight, there's a sudden knock at my door. This is actually already over 2 hours, damn. I'm gonna keep going though. I feel like I might actually record the whole 6 hours and then cut it up into parts. I really don't want to stop. I am hungry, but fuck it. Sakaki, right? It's not locked.
どうして私だと？
When I said Sachi had gotten rid of a test before, you were the only one who looked startled.
そう。顔に出していたつもりはなかったのに、よく見ているわね。
I'm a part-time cleaner after all. Can't overlook even the smallest specks of dust.
誇り。ね。
Repeating my words with a knowing tinge of irony, Sakaki walks to the center of my room, letting the door close behind her. So, I dropped by a man's room at this hour. Decided it was about time to throw away her virginity?
残念ながら、あなたに処女を捧げるつもりはないわ。
Well, maybe in a different route, Sakaki. Ah, money troubles then. In that case...
風見くん、私はあなたに聞きたいことがあるのよ。
And what would that be? Noting a clear change in the tone of Sakaki's voice, I decide it wisest to stop teasing her.
あなたはテストをなくしたいという理由だけで一人の少女が学校に火を放ったと噂されている事件のことを知っているかしら？
Interesting story. Sounds a bit far-fetched though.
そう。あなたが知らないというなら、そのことに関してはもう聞かないけれど、あなたたちのクラスメイトとして一つ明確な答えを聞かせてちょうだい。
Can't promise anything until I hear the question.
じゃあ、松島さんの依頼を受けると言ったのはあなただけれど、小峰さんに危ない真似をさせるつもりじゃないのよね。
What if I say it's a possibility?
私にも考えがあるわ。
With clear anger in her voice, Sakaki takes out her box cutter and pushes up the blade with a violent snap. I admire the spirit, but the odds of you actually touching me with that thing aren't even 1 in 100.
それでも意識があるうちは何度でもあなたに刃を向けるでしょうね。
Alright, I've got the message. My bad. Do me a favor and put away the weapon. When I declare my surrender, Sakaki heaves a long, heavy sigh and slowly sheaths her makeshift knife. To be perfectly honest, the potential risk depends on how things play out. I can't say for sure whether she'll be in any danger. But no matter what means Sachi chooses to use in pursuit of her objective, I can promise you I'll protect her with everything I've got. That not good enough?
危険な目に遭わせないとは約束できないの？
No, I can't. You're concerned about Sachi's safety to the point of menacing me with a box cutter. It rubbed me the wrong way to make you a promise I can't keep. And the truth is, drastic measures may prove necessary.
そう。あなたの話から推測すると、小峰さんが抱えている問題というのは精神的なものなんでしょうね。
Sorry, but I can't be the one to tell you that.
そうね。今のは軽率な発言だったわ。
Anyway, Sachi's not the only one who's going to be affected by this. Might end up inconveniencing you and the others as well.
私たちに？
Yeah. Of course, I promise to contain any danger and keep you all safe. But if things do get ugly, I'd appreciate your help.
自分の手の内は明かさずに協力を求める。実に身勝手な話ね。
It truly is. I'm aware of that, but I'm still asking. Please, Sakaki.
わかったわ。もしそうなったら、できる限りの協力はする。
Right. Appreciate it.
でも、覚えておいて。私はあくまで小峰さんのために協力するのよ。
That's supposed to be your take on Michiru's tsundere thing?
違うわよ。
Sakaki turns away with a scowl. I'm not sure if she's really too disgusted to look at my face, or just trying to hide the light blush on her cheeks.
とにかく、これで話は終わったから、私は失礼させてもらうわ。
Hey, Sakaki.
何よ。
All this time, I've been more than a little dubious about this whole thing. This place, this lifestyle, being a student. But as of right now, I think I'm over all that. I'm glad I came to this school.
なぜそれを私に？
Who knows? Maybe I just wanted you to hear it.
そう。
Sakaki quietly leaves my room with an uncharacteristically gentle expression on her face. Although I hadn't expected it to happen this way, I've managed to gain something of an accomplice. Sakaki possesses both level-headed judgment and the ability to project authority. I don't think anyone's better suited to take care of the others when and if the time comes. But even with the cooperation of our classmates more or less assured, there are still plenty of problems I need to take care of. And if my estimate of the situation is correct, the drastic measures I mention are absolutely going to prove necessary. Which means I need to get moving. "10 minutes to go. It's a boiling summer day, and I'm standing out in the sun, staring down at my watch as I wait for a visitor. To carry out my plan, I'm going to need cooperation from a number of concerned parties. But even among them, it's safe to say that the person I'm about to meet is the single most crucial piece of the puzzle. 5 minutes. 3 minutes. Exactly 180 seconds before the arranged time, I hear a high-pitched engine approaching. Only moments later, a certain flashy sports car draws to a halt outside the gate. No less an eyesore than the first time I saw it. Precisely on time, huh? Just what you'd expect from a German.
お待たせ。
JB steps out of her car, carelessly brushing up a loose lock of that shaggy blonde hair she's so proud of. Sorry for dragging you all the way out here.
確かにユージの方から呼び出すなんて珍しいわね。もしかしてもう学生を辞めたくなった？
Actually, it's the opposite.
逆？
Yeah, I want to stay at this school. Keep up the whole normal student thing. And to make that possible, there's something I absolutely have to do.
なんだか私とても嫌な予感がしてきたんだけど。
That's JB for you. Can't count how many times that sharp nose for trouble has saved my ass.
ここで褒められても嬉しくないわね。で、本人が認めているからはっきり聞くけど、ユージがどうしてもやらなければいけないことっていうのはどんなことなの？
I was hoping you might ask. I've actually got a favor to ask of you.
頼み？
So that's the shape of it. Pretty simple, right? Sorry, too simple, huh? Must have been a bit of a letdown.
その逆よ！よりにもよってそんな。あなた一体何を考えているの？
After carefully considering all the relevant factors, I concluded this would be the single most effective approach.
すべてのことってそれが幸のためだってことはわかるけど、本当にそれだけのことをしなければいけない必要があるの？
Depends on her, but in all possibility, yes. I don't think anything else is going to get it done. Otherwise, I think Sachi would have found the answer to my problem by now. And if I'm going to make this happen, I need your help, God damn it, Eugene. You really do use her full name only during conveniences, Julia.
だからといってそんな話に私が協力すると思う？
Probably not. You've never been the sort to put aside the big picture for a smaller objective.
それなら
Please listen to me, Julia. I've had enough regrets for one lifetime. I'm sick and tired of being a powerless bystander. It's not like I want to go around rescuing random people like some sort of superhero. But when there's someone suffering in front of me, and when that someone's a person I care about, I want to do everything I can to help them.
それが幸だと？
That's right. When I learned about her identity and her burden, I wanted to help her. That feeling was absolutely real, and it's only gotten stronger over time. And if I turn a blind eye to her problem now, I don't think I'm ever going to understand the meaning of the words Asako left me.
それがあなたの出した答えなのね。わかったわ。私もできる限りの協力はする。
You sure about that?
あなたがそこまで言うなら、きっとそれだけの覚悟があるんだろうし。ここに朝子がいたら、男が頭を下げてきたら、女は黙ってうなずくくらいの気概が必要だって言われそうだしね。
I wouldn't be so sure about that, JB. Some man wouldn't be as good as you think. Sorry, I appreciate it.
ただし、いくら市ヶ谷に赤坂の後ろ盾があると言っても、融通を聞かせられる範囲は限られているわよ。
I'm aware, yes. Don't worry, I'm not planning to give Ichigaya any headaches. As long as you can get me the East Beach Express information and the soup, I'll figure out the rest on my own.
なんとかするって、あなた、そっちの方の知識も持っていたの？
You haven't forgotten what sort of person my master was, have you?
そうだったわね。
Asako trusted you more than anyone else, you know? And the same goes for me now. In fact, you're the only person in the world I'd call family. What I'm trying to say is, I really am grateful, JP.
普段あれだけ可愛げないことを言う子からそんなことを言われるとなんだか調子が狂うわね。
My sincere apologies.
まあ養親に対する一つの親孝行とでも思っておくことにするわ。
Sure. Out of filial piety, I think it's called piety, right? I guess I'll refrain from pointing out the contrast between these cynical words and the visible wetness in the corner of her eyes. One last thing. I want you to get me 4 tickets for a helicopter ride.
ヘリクルージングってそんなもの何に使うの？
That part's a secret.
わかったわ。用途については聞かないけど詳しい日時が決まったら連絡してちょうだい。こっちも準備が整い次第連絡するから。
Yeah. Go ahead and draw the funds you're going to need out of my account.
それは構わないけどさっきの話を聞いた限りだとユージのやろうとしていることを成功させるには確実にもう一人の協力者が必要なんじゃない？
That's right, I am.
じゃあその人とはもう話がついているの？
No, but that negotiation's next on my to-do list.
これからって一見綿密に練られた計画のように見えて肝心なところは体当たり。そういうところは朝子そっくりね。
Guess I'll just have to show you that it isn't the only thing I picked up from my master.
ええ、期待しているわ。